Okay, so I had a really neat question this morning from Ben saying how what did I say? Why the PKE when you have a mountain of silage and crops? And is it just for production or diet balance? And how does this stack up financially after cutting silage while you have a forecast hole in the wedge? Sorry, legit questions. I'm not trying to bust your balls. He's kind of actually busting our balls, but it's a great thing because we do need to make sure we explain things really clearly to you guys. So, a bit of info to go with this. So it's going to be quite a long post, but you'll just have to bear with me. So, one of the first things is we need to add supplements today because we're in a little bit of a feed deficit. So I'm going to play a wee game with you. We actually kind of go through how this works. So if we were all grass today, that is what our pasture demand line would look like. So we'd need to go into about 3,200 kilos of dry matter per hectare to be all grass. We know the pasture quality deterioration of that and what it would look like. We also know that normally, I use the phrase loosely, we'd have nothing like the growth we have had in the last, actually it's 2 years now from different ends. One is a wet December, one's a wet January. We'd have nothing like the growth to actually sustain that, but that level of pasture quality is really, really poor for milking cows. And how do I know that? I know that because that's where we were a year ago. So that's our feed wedge from the 16th of January 2018. We were basically going into 3200 cover. We were doing the pasture samples on it, and we know that it was around 10.5 ME as opposed to the 11.5 to 12 we're currently going into. So that's why we don't want to be going into that longer pasture cover. The thing to remember last year is we were also feeding 5 kilos of turnips at the moment because we had the turnips, because normally we need the turnips because we have growth rates down in the 40s by January, and we've been a lot less than that in December. So normally we would have pasture cover kind of where it is now, we'd need the turnip. So a year ago we were eating this grass, we know that it was kind of 10.5 ME, we were feeding turnips as well, we were on a really long ground and cover just got longer and longer in front of us. And so if you look at this here, this is our pasture cover graph that we track through. So the green line is where we've tracked this year. This purpley kind of line is budget or target or where we want it to be. And that's all around controlling the pasture quality into cows. This dirty old red line here is where we got up to last year. So 16th of January, we were sitting around 2260 cover. There we go, where are we? 2267 on this 11th of January. And it all went haywire from there and it kept going up and we ended up eating longer and longer stuff with the cows. So we don't want to be going into that long cover. So back to these pictures, so that's where we would be if we were all grass. We know what happened last year, so we don't want to be doing that, which is why we cut the silage, dumped it in the stack, stopped it getting worse, kept cows into good quality stuff. So this is where if we stayed offering 14 kilos of grass plus turnips, so we're just grass and turnips, that's what our wedge looked like. So we've got this big hole through here, I'll do it with the fingers, but as you see, that big hole looming. So we know that we've got a couple of days left of long enough pasture cover, but then it's going to start getting shorter and shorter on us. So we don't want our pre-grazings to decrease. We've got two rules. One is that we keep our pre-grazing under around 2800 if we can, which is around the quality deterioration above that. The other one is keep your average pasture cover above 2,000. So if your average pasture cover is at 2,000, your residuals are 1,500, your longest grass is around 2,500. Anything beneath that, and we're starting to go into pastures well below the 2.5 leaf stage, we know we compromise growth, but more importantly at this time of the year, we know we risk overgrazing and actually killing our ryegrass plants, which is bad as well. So at the moment our average cover is 1986, so it's just under that 2000. We know that if our cover is low, we should slow the round down, not speed the round up. With lower pre-grazings coming up in front of us, there's not enough grass in the paddock, we'll end up moving cows on and we'll get faster and faster and our pre-grazers get lower and lower. So we don't want that to happen. So by adding the 2 kilos of palm kernel, what we do is we pull that demand line down. So we enable our rotation to be slower because cows need to eat less grass because they're eating more supplement to go with their turnips. So we can slow our round down quite nicely. So if we look at the maths in terms of this, calculating your pre-graze target, and I'm going to post this all in pictures for you to look at, you work through what your stocking rate is, put in your target rotation length, put in your target pasture intake. This is how much available feed we need per hectare, plus our residual gives us our pre-grazing. So this is where we work through the maths. And so we come down to here and we say, if we add an extra 2 kilos of supplement, we only need to go into 2588 kgs of dry matter per hectare or 2600. That's still a safe place from a plant point of view. We think our grass growth will withstand that, so we'll be all right. But we know grass is going to slow down to below 30 kgs of growth, at which point we'll slow our round down even more by offering less grass and hopefully still going into roughly the same pre-grazing, keeping a bit of a wedge around the farm and using more supplements to do it. So we're starting the supplement journey. We intend to continue the supplement journey because we're expecting a dryish summer to follow from here. Got to stay flexible with it. So hopefully that's a bit of an explanation. Kind of long-winded, kind of a long-winded explanation, and it's all going to be in the text on the Facebook post as well. But for those who want, who don't enjoy reading all of the stories, that's why we've added the 2 kilos of supplement, so that we go from having that kind of potential feed wedge hole and the necessity to speed up our round to having no major hole and not needing to speed up. If anything, we'll be able to slow down. And then we've just had, so look at nice and green out there, we've had sort of an inch of rain in the last couple of days. Really simply, if we need to speed the round back up, take that supplement out, we're going to do it. But at the moment, the decision is to put in a little bit and hold. We will stay with 2 kilos of silage probably from here on out, but that's more because we are feeding it in front of the turnips and cows are going directly to turnips out of the shed, so we're preventing rape scald. So the palm kernel might be around for a week and then gone. But yeah, hopefully that answers some of your questions. God, goodness knows it'll probably create more.